The first thing that you're going to want to do is to develop a standard set of interview questions for that particular job. One reason we want to do this is that you want to be consistent and fair in your interviewing approach. So by having a standard list of questions that you're going to ask all your candidates, you're going to establish a solid level of consistency there, and that's really important. The types of questions that you're going to want to ask, typically you want to be open-ended, and you want to be rather general in nature, and you want to have them be related to the attributes or competencies related to successful performance in the job. We call this behavioral interviewing, and the point of behavioral interviewing is that past performance is the best predictor of future behavior. Behavioral questions typically are things like, tell me about a time when you managed a large project, or tell me about a situation where you had to help an angry customer and make them feel better about their experience. So in behavioral interviewing, it's your responsibility as the interviewer to set the candidate up for success, to help them along with their answer. By using behavioral-based interview questions and using follow-up questions or probing questions, that is what is going to help you help the candidate answer a question. And then what you're looking for and what you need to help the candidate provide is what was the situation involved with the example that the candidate provides. What were the tasks involved with related to that particular situation? What were the specific actions that the candidate particularly performed? When we probe, there's a lot of ways to do it. There can be nonverbal cues like nodding or silence, simple things like, just please tell me more. When you get into particularly asking about or wanting to find out about the candidate's particular actions or responsibilities related to that situation, a lot of candidates typically are very generic in their responses. So you may need to simply ask, what were your particular actions? What did you specifically do related to that situation? If you have the goal of identifying the situation, the task, the action, the result, then you're going to get a full picture of that candidate's past performance as it relates to that particular attribute or competency related to your job. So it's also important to help guide the candidate through the interview and control the interview. Your interview is structured into a few different sections. So candidate comes in the room and you're sitting down with them, you need to make them feel at ease. Explain to them how the interview is going to go. Establish rapport at the very beginning. Make the candidate feel comfortable. Candidates that are not anxious, that are not stressed, are more likely to be more open and honest about their experiences. Then you go into your questions. You ask your general questions. You ask your probing questions. You give the candidate enough time at the end to ask any questions that they might have, because candidates often do have questions. And then also use any remaining time to sell the job. Most candidates, even when they get in for the interview, they're not necessarily convinced they want to work with you. And the more that you can tell them in person what's unique and interesting and compelling about the job, about the company, that is a great opportunity to get the candidate more and more interested in your job. The ultimate rule of thumb, though, is that you should be listening more than speaking. It's a trap that many interviewers get in. They feel they have so much they want to talk about with the job, then they end up talking 70% of the time in an interview. It should be the other way around. The candidate should be the one talking 70% of the time. You should be listening. You should be guiding the candidate through the interview. Again, making them feel comfortable, asking follow-up probing questions, taking notes, objective notes, paraphrase things that the candidate says, but you do want to capture the main gist of what they said. You want to withhold judgment at this point so that you can come back, particularly when you're evaluating that candidate either on their own or compared to other candidates. Then you have the objective information captured in your notes that you can use to do that. If you do all those things, if you set yourself up at the very beginning with a standard set of questions that you can ask consistently to all candidates, that the questions are directly related to the ability to perform in the job, not only asking about their skills and experience, but also questions directly related to the attributes, the competencies that will make them successful in performing the job or fitting within your company or culture. Help guiding the candidate through the interview process, making sure that they are comfortable, they're aware of how the process is going to go, leaving time for them to ask questions, selling the job, taking notes. If you do all of those things, then you are going to set yourself up for being a very effective interviewer.